Welcome back. As you know, I'm Eli the Computer Guy here for the Daily Blob, where we say it is just unacceptable in the modern world. These young whippersnappers come in doing things I don't understand and make so much more money than I do. That's ridiculous. In my day, when I was a young whippersnapper, I went in and did things that I understood and made a lot more money than the other people, and that's the way things should be. Yep, it's good when I'm succeeding, and it's bad when somebody else is doing better than me. That's how it works. That's how it works as you get older. So one of the things I've been talking a lot about lately is basically just this depression, just utter depression I see of people in the technology industry, and how I find it to be weird. I've seen anger in the past. I've seen frustration. I've even seen so many tears, nervous breakdowns, lots of different emotions in the tech world. I've never seen just the abject depression that we're currently seeing with all of these technology professionals lamenting the rise of artificial intelligence, right? There's this idea that AI is going to take all the jobs, right? Eli, this isn't if-else statements. Eli, this isn't databases. Eli, this isn't outsourcing to India. Eli, this isn't all those other things that have come and gone in the past. Eli, this is what's going to eliminate my job. Boo-hoo, wah-wah, cry, snivel. And it is slightly amusing to watch this of, wait for it, technology professionals. My entire career has been about getting other mutterfudders fired. And yet now, all of a sudden, when technology professionals are worried about their job, then it's serious. Then it is serious. And I find this to be fascinating. As I've said before, artificial intelligence, it isn't. It is a feature set. It's decision-making systems, it's natural language processing systems. There are a lot of things that it does, but one, it's not intelligence, and two, it is simply a feature set. Even on the most banal argument that I can put out there, I was talking about this a couple of videos ago, where Amazon, Andy Jaffe was talking about how there will be like 1 billion AI agents, right? So AI agents use quote-unquote AI, but they can actually take actions for you, send messages, get Ubers, book appointments, maybe even pay things if you really trust them. I wouldn't do it, but if you trust him, right? But he talked about there being 1 billion AI agents. And so one of the important things to understand is that means 1 billion AI agents have to be created. I mean, that's just a tremendous number of agents that have to be created and a hell of a lot of work that has to be done, right? Wherever we are in a decade, wherever we are in 2 decades, the fact of the matter is there is a lot of work to get us there. I talk about that with back when I started in IT proper, and one of the reasons there was so much money to be made is you had office buildings, real office buildings that have been around 50, 60, 70 years, right? You go into an office park, you see those blocky buildings, you don't realize how old those damn things are, right? They're actually really old. And so for my generation of technology professionals, there is a crap ton of money simply wiring them up for networking. Right? You go in there, you make $150 per run. Per run is per cable. That means if you have 4 cables going to the exact same wall plate, you're making $600 to go dum-da-dum-da-dum-da-dum-da-dum. Anyways, right? All of that work had to be built out. And then at a certain point, most of that work had been built out, and therefore it's no longer a cash cow, right? When websites come out, people realize how valuable websites are. Everybody wants a website. So all of those websites have to get built. And you know, websites killed the value of the yellow pages. When was the last time you cried for the employees of the yellow pages? And I say that as a snot-nosed asshole, but it's also true. Did you ever think about all the employees that were employed by Yellow Pages. I've talked about that before with Craig Newmark and Craigslist, right? Craigslist may literally be one of the most pivotal platforms to ever be created in human history, and nobody talks about it because it is so beneath everybody even accepting that it exists, right? Craig Newmark with Craigslist used PHP and MySQL to create a free classified ad system. Classified ads were massive profit drivers, profit centers for most newspapers. So when Craigslist came through, basically, it killed the profit center for most newspapers, and that's why we have the garbage news that we have today. Literally, Craig Newmark with PHP and MySQL destroyed the entire newspaper industry. Literally. Do you cry over them? Do you cry over those employees? No, because they're not you. Hey, you don't understand. If those newspaper people had learned JavaScript, maybe they wouldn't be in this situation now. If those Yellow Pages people had learned to code, maybe they wouldn't be in this situation now. See, Eli, the difference between those weak, pathetic, old boomers that weren't willing to get with the times and me is I know JavaScript. Anyways, point is, technology comes in, technology gets replaced. What replaces the old technology has to get built. Then the new thing has to get built, and the new thing has to get built, and the new thing has to get built, and the new thing has to get built. And there is so much opportunity in the AI space right now. I know a lot of people making a lot of money in the AI space, and wait for it, they're still crying. I don't understand the tears. Even the people doing well in the AI space are still depressed motherfuckers. But anywho, I'm just a not boomer. I'm just one of those not boomers that says, hey, you should use technology to solve problems. And when the old problems get solved, you should find new technology to solve new problems. I know, that's just old school thinking. No, Eli, in the modern world, what you do is you cry and you bitch and you whine and you moan until somebody else comes in and fixes your life. Hey, if that actually works, I do not argue with success. If you think crying and bitching and whining and moaning and just snargling all fucking day long is going to bring somebody else into your life to solve your problems, hey, whatever. I don't know. Hasn't worked for me. But why I bring this up is coming from CNBC. I do think this is interesting. From the AI space. Talk about somewhere where there is a lot of money. Your job may be going away, but their jobs are only paying even more. CNBC, Sam Altman says Meta offered OpenAI staff $100 million bonuses as Mark Zuckerberg ramps up AI poaching efforts. That is how much money is on the table with the expansion of AI. Do I think it will all blow up? Do I think all these AI engineers will be crying and sniffling and whining and bitching and moaning in a couple of years? Yeah. But right now, they're making so much money. Put that shit into a S&P 500 index fund and cry into your dollar bills. Anyways, so this is interesting. Meta Platforms trying to poach OpenAI employees by offering signing bonuses as high as $100 million. So I'm not sure if that's each. That kind of sounds like each, but I don't know. It's just a lot of money. Point is, crap ton of money. With even larger annual compensation packages, OpenAI chief executive Sam Altman said, while Meta had sought to hire, quote, a lot of people from OpenAI, quote, so far none of our best people have decided to take them up on that. It is interesting, listen to words, none of our best people have taken Meta up on that. So people have taken Meta up on it, and now you are defining them as not your best people. Notice the emotional manipulation used by these CEOs and by these managers in the tech industry, right? It goes back to that whole thing. Meta needs to get rid of a lot of people. They don't want to say it's layoffs, so they're simply eliminating low performers. Well, wait a minute, that low performer has been getting high performance reviews for years, and now all of a sudden they get rated as a low performer? Well, what's Mark Zuckerberg supposed to do? If they refuse to be a high performer, I mean, that's their problem. Notice how they use words. Altman said, speaking on the Uncapped podcast, which is hosted by his brother, quote, I've heard that Meta thinks of us as their biggest competitor, he said, quote, their current AI efforts have not worked as well as they have hoped, and I respect being aggressive and continuing to try new things. I will say this with Meta. What is your AI plan? No, seriously, what is Meta's AI plan? I mean, think Meta. I mean, Meta has been great. They came out with the Llama model, right? So we're up to Llama 3. So Llama is their large language model. It is not an open source model, but basically as long as you have like less than 700 million monthly users, you can use it for free in a commercial capacity. But they came out with the Llama model, and that's cool. Not really sure what the hell else Meta is doing with AI. It is really weird. With Mark Zuckerberg seems to have like true ADHD, like running after whatever the latest, digital squirrel is. Squirrel! Right? They just spent tens of billions of dollars on the metaverse. And yep, they spent a lot of money on the metaverse. Anyways, it's interesting. They're dumping all the money in the metaverse. They literally, he changes the name of Facebook to Meta because metaverse is so important. And after all that money, who the hell knows what they've gotten for it. So now AI is the latest, coolest thing. And so Meta is dumping a tremendous amount of money into AI to become an AI leader. Why? As the critical drinker would say, don't know. It is like, I know you sit there and you think, well, Eli, Meta's a big tech company. Meta's worth $300 billion. Eli, obviously Meta is going to be a leader in AI. It's like, well, no, but these are businesses. These are publicly traded companies, right? The equity is owned by the shareholders, and then the CEO and all the employees under the CEO are basically supposed to do what brings the most value to the shareholders. And if you look at Meta, right, as it is, right, you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, and you've got WhatsApp, and you've got their Oculus or whatever the hell that thing is called. Right, but anyways, right. So if you say that they need to invest in AI, yeah, I think we can all agree with that. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Hey, they should also invest in spreadsheets. It's like, hey, oh, what? You think they're going to do all their work without Excel? Like, no, I guess they should invest in Excel. But do they need to be best in class with spreadsheets? I know that sounds stupid, but think about it for a second. Why do they need to be a leader in AI? What is the market driver that's pushing them to be a leader in artificial intelligence? And I've kind of got to say, I would argue this is the problem when you give the founder all the voting rights for a corporation that's worth over $300 billion. Is sometimes they go off and start using all of your resources for whatever harebrained idea they have. But this will be an interesting thing to just look at with Meta is what is their AI plan? Like if you look at it, right, like Tesla, whether you agree with Tesla or whether you disagree with Tesla, right? Tesla's AI plan. They want self-driving cars and they want their robots. And then on top of that, they want to create general AI. Right? Makes sense, right? You want autonomous cars. He believes robotaxis are the future, so you want AI for cars. He believes these Tesla bots are a $20 trillion industry. Again, I think it's stupid, but it's an argument. That's an argument. We can disagree, but I understand the argument, right? Okay, so create AI for that. And then if you're thinking you have cars and you have robots and you have other things, trying to create general intelligence, on that makes sense. If you look at Apple trying to get into the AI realm, they have the computers, they have Siri, they have a lot of this stuff going on. They're processing images, all kinds of interesting stuff like that. So them trying to get in the AI world makes sense. Google, right, world's largest store of data, they're trying to use AI to process and create and do stuff with data. That makes sense. Meta, what is the financial goal for becoming best in class in AI? That's what I kind of think is curious. When they came out with the Llama models a while ago and started debuting that, at first I thought it was just a marketing thing. So, you know, in the tech world, this is going to come as a shock, but geeks are kind of passive aggressive. And they can kind of try to destroy your business model just to be assholes sometimes. It's true. It's true. We're assholes. We're assholes. Sorry. Sorry, all the blue hairs. Oh, all you blue hairs got into this profession because you wanted respect and you wanted people to like you. Dumbasses. That's not our profession. Anyways, right? So when they came out with Llama and all that, I honestly thought with that, is you know they need AI functionality within their systems, but they don't actually sell AI products. So my thought with them shipping Llama for use, for open use, was basically the idea of using that as a way to get talent. Look at the technology that we're using and deploying. Look at the quality of what we're doing. Come work at a cutting edge company. So it's a way for when he gives Llama away, when Mark Zuckerberg gives Llama away, that's a way to say you may not see all the cutting edge stuff that we're doing, but we are doing cutting edge things. Here is an example, right? And that's an interesting thing in the tech world where things can get really wonky very quickly. When people talk about what the value of something is, I talked about this before with this whole, I had a friend of mine who said, should he sell his NVIDIA stock? Are we in an AI bubble? And it's like, well, we are in an AI bubble, but I have no idea whether you should sell your NVIDIA stock. Because in the business world, like, there's all these different players out there doing all kinds of weird things. I've talked about that with DeepSeek and with China, right? China releasing these quote unquote open source models basically just to fuck with the United States. What? It's like, well, the U.S. says, we're preeminent in AI. Our strength is artificial intelligence. And then China's like, oh, really? Here, take some AI for free. Right, that's a value to a nation state. There's a value to a nation state actor to gut check another nation state actor, and they gut check the nation state with basically releasing something for free that the other person is trying to sell for a crap ton of money, right? And the same type of thing can be true with the different corporations, right? Facebook comes out, they release this thing for free, and then all of a sudden, why use OpenAI? Why use Claude? Why use other LLMs that are going to cost you money when you can simply use this free service? And all that's one of the things in the tech world where the financial component can just go sideways just because of other stupid stuff. So anyways, one of the interesting things that I do think here is this whole question of what is Meta's goal? What is Meta's plan for becoming preeminent in AI? And that's one thing I just have not seen yet. Let's see here. The Meta CEO is personally trying to assemble a top artificial intelligence team for its super intelligence AI lab and has invested heavily in AI through its Meta AI research division, which also oversees its Llama series of open source large language models. The moves come after Meta had once again delayed the release of its latest flagship AI model due to concerns about its capabilities. Meanwhile, sources have told CNBC that Zuckerberg has become so frustrated with Meta's standing in AI that he's willing to invest billions in top talent. This is the other problem that you're going to see in the tech world, right? People with billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars are going to start throwing billions and billions and billions of dollars basically at the wall to try to push the ball forward. And the problem is sometimes money doesn't work that way. Like, Like when you know what you need to scale, once you get your client acquisition cost down, once you get your client acquisition cost at scale down, you have an idea of what that looks like. Throwing money at the problem can solve a lot of issues. You're like, look, for every $5 we spend, we get a new client. For every 1,000 clients we get, we need a new server, right? For every 20 new servers we put online, we need to hire a new geek, right? So if you basically understand what your math looks like, then that's where you can go to the investors or somebody can throw money at you, and then you can do hyperscale. And hyperscale actually works, right? You get $1 billion thrown at you, that then basically means you're gonna get 5 million users. That's going to require 20,000 servers. That's then going to require 500 employees that are then going to require an office space to work out of, and the whole 9 yards, right? You have figured out what people want. You have figured out what they're willing to pay for what they want. You have figured out how to economically deliver those products or services. Past that, it basically just turns into a god-awful numbers game where you burn cash. One of the issues we've seen in the tech world over the past number of years is that the greatest minds of my generation, your generation, younger than me, right? Naked, shivering, freezing in the dawn of a new age, right? Mark Zuckerberg was brilliant. Let's just say he was brilliant with coming up with Facebook. Since then, he's been a dud. I would argue Elon Musk did a lot of good things. He's turned into a bit of a dud. The problem is they've just gotten to this point where the world has moved beyond them, right? I would give you the example of the world moving beyond Gen X, but nobody gave a crap about Gen X when we were young. Oh, poor Gen X. We suck. But anyways, I think there's this big issue, right? So you see a lot of these tech companies and they're running after the next thing. They're running after VR. They're running after blockchain. They're running after AI, not because they see the value proposition and they understand how to vaguely turn this into a business model and what value will be. It's they're running after it because they need that next big thing. And so they throw billions and billions of dollars into it, and then what happens? I mean, even look at like Apple, right? Apple is what, $3 trillion company? Look at Apple stuff. It's basically the same crap that we were buying, 13 years ago. You went out 13 years ago, you bought an iPhone. You went out 13 years ago, you bought a MacBook Pro. You went out 13 years ago, you bought some iCloud services. It's now 13 years later. The phones are a bit better. The computers are a bit better. iCloud's a bit better. Not much better, but a bit better. 13 years. Where is the actual advancement? The actual advancement is making them prettier, making them more Illumini, giving us our damn ports back, right? Because they don't know. We've plateaued. I mean, Apple's big thing is services. How they're trying to get the next $1 trillion of valuation is by things like Apple TV. That's the innovation. So I think that's a curious thing that we're seeing right now, and it's also something to be careful about when we talk about bubbles. So if you're in the AI world and you're making money, just remember to take a large chunk of that and throw that into an S&P 500 index fund. Because this crap is all going to blow up. Just kind of like we saw VR blow up. And that's the interesting thing. Like when these things fail, you never really hear a lot about the failures. I was looking the other day. There was a video that came up about like what happened to NFTs. Now think about this. NFTs, non-fungible tokens, right? A few years ago, during COVID, NFTs became a thing. That is the next blockchain investment. You are going to own digital data or whatever. And people like me said it was stupid. And that doesn't make a damn bit of sense. But anyways, we got shouted down. The interesting thing is, right, there was all of this emphasis on NFTs. Everybody talked about NFTs. There was all the hype for NFTs. And now it's a couple years later. And nobody ever really talks about NFTs failing. That's the curious thing with this. They don't even talk about NFTs failing. It just went from NFT hype cycle to nothing. Right? Again, like with VR and things, right? You hear the VR hype cycle and then basically nothing. Blockchain hype cycle and then basically nothing. The curious thing you'll notice in the tech industry, they don't even talk about their failures anymore. We go straight from hype cycle to next hype cycle, to next hype cycle, to next hype cycle. Nobody takes the time to say, whoa, wait, wasn't something else supposed to be the future? Weren't we throwing tens of billions of dollars at something else? I think it was. No, because they're off to the next hype cycle. And that's where with AI, it is currently in a hype cycle. Take your money, make sure to put it in some good investments because it will all blow up. Let's see here. The moves come, meanwhile, last week, Alexander Wang, founder of Scale AI, announced he was leaving for Meta as part of a deal that saw the Facebook parent dish out $14.3 billion for a 49% stake in the AI startup. $14 billion, not even a 50% stake. Wang added that a small number of Scale AI employees would also join Meta as part of the agreement. So anyways, I think that is kind of an interesting thing to be thinking about in this time period where everybody's crying and sniveling and bitching and whining and moaning and saying, it's so bad. It was funny. When we were laughing at coal miners, that was funny. That is the way the world should be, laughing at coal miners. My job should be secure, though. Anyways, it's interesting to see in this time, bitching, whining, moaning, and complaining, that there are a tremendous number of opportunities, right? Rebuilding out AI infrastructure is going to be worth a lot of money. And I would argue it's not just for these big companies, OpenAI and that type of thing, but for the small companies too. How can you create AI products for small businesses? Think about this with a good old-fashioned auto attendant. Can you create a system where somebody can call in and simply ask questions of an AI about the business, right? Especially with agents and that type of thing. Call in and say, hey, I'd like to schedule an appointment on Tuesday. Oh, that's great. Having the AI. We have appointments in the morning or the afternoon. Which would you like? I'd like an appointment in the afternoon. It's pretty open at any particular time. Yes, do you have 3 o'clock? Yes, we have a 3 o'clock appointment. What is your name? Right, that's all child's play. I mean, you do realize something like that is basically child's play. But if you can prove that it actually works to a business, that could be worth a lot of money. Again, depending on what kind of business it is, that kind of system might be worth $5,000 or $10,000. You build it once and then you copy and paste it to all of your other customers. Oh yeah, this solution is going to cost you $10,000, but you have to understand. We put hundreds of hours of work into building the solution. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Well, yeah, you did the first time. You did the first time. And then every other time you deploy it, you spend like 5 hours, right? The first time you deploy it, you made like $10 an hour. Every other time you deploy it, you made like $2,000 an hour. That's how it works in the tech world. And so think about that. Auto attendants, messaging systems, all kinds of other things. Like what can you build out for these companies? What problems are they having? We used to run cable, and that's how you made a lot of money. Building web applications, that's how they made a lot of money, right? Now taking a look at it, what do AI applications actually look like, and what is the value proposition that you can actually give to your customers and your end users? If you focus on that, you'll be fine in the tech world. Focus on solving valuable problems for customers, and you will have good times, and you'll still have bad times, but overall, you'll have a decent career. If you think that JavaScript stack is your key to a permanent job, you are probably greatly mistaken on that. There are not too many languages out there like COBOL. Don't get me wrong. If you want to learn one language that you're going to be able to retire off of, COBOL. Learn COBOL. I still know people making money, a lot of money off of COBOL. You too can make money off of COBOL. But JavaScript is not COBOL. So anyways, what do you think about this? What do you think about Sam Altman saying that Meta is offering OpenAI staff $100 million bonuses? Do you think that's per person, or do you think that's in total? What do you think about Mark Zuckerberg trying to make Meta the premier AI corporation? Do you have any idea what that looks like for their business, so on and so forth. And yeah, and do you go to Costco? Do you go to Costco for your Kleenex? Can you still afford the Kleenex? That's going to be the sad time for you. That's going to be the sad time for you when you can no longer afford Kleenex. You have to go to Costco and then buy the generic tissues because you can no longer afford the fancy Kleenex ones. Are you to that point yet? Anyways, for the love of God, folks out there, it's not that bad. The stacks always change. The technology always change. You roll with it. You have a generation of spoiled little fucking brats that have been brought up on the goddamn JavaScript stack, and they spent 15 fucking years on one tech stack, and now they're having a hissy fit because holy crap, shit changes. It just irritates me, right? Because that's one of the big things with tech professionals. Yeah, we're smart. We're so smart. We're so brilliant. We're so visionary. Yeah, technology changes every day. Yeah, my career changes at the speed of light. Fuck you. You've been doing the same stupid shit for the past fucking decade. And the only reason most of you have been getting paid is because there's been 1% interest rates, and therefore your CEOs have been more interested in asses and fucking seats than they've been interested in fucking ROI. Go out there, solve some goddamn problems, make people's lives actually fucking better with technology, and you'll be fine. You will be fucking fine. But anyways, what the hell do I know? I'm just here screaming into a camera. The whining is getting to me. I gotta say, just the crying is just getting to me. It's getting to me. Anywho, see y'all later.